The Indiana Fever had a lot of momentum going into this game. Caitlin Clark had just finished a terrific game against Angel Ree in the Chicago Sky, recording a double-double that amply demonstrated to everyone why she is the franchise's focal point. Aaliyah Boston had made a name for herself as a painter. However, Indiana had a consistent advantage with Kelsey Mitchell's outside shooting. This group finally seemed to be coming together at the perfect time, with veterans like Natasha Howard and Dana Bonner contributing both toughness and poise. But Atlanta was not the kind of opponent who would permit a simple rerun. With Brianna Jones providing inside bulk, Ryan Howard wanting to match her star power against Clark, and Alicia Gray providing strength on the wing, they had talent all over the floor. Tahina Pau gave the ideal balance in size and quickness by adding a spark in the backcourt. The lineup was intended to irritate Indiana. The Fever also recognized right away that they wouldn't be able to breeze through this type of contest. However, the gloom hanging over the court was what really set this night apart from the others, not the names on the roster. The atmosphere was completely altered by Brittany Gurrier, who was waiting in the paint. She has been one of the most powerful people in women's basketball for many years. A tall defender who has made a name for herself by making guards reconsider their plans to assault the rim. This was more than just another obstacle for Caitlin Clark. She was put to the test to see if she could defeat a giant. It was evident from the first tip that points and assists would not be the only metrics used to evaluate this game. Clark would have to walk right into the path of someone who has dedicated her career to stopping players like her in order to establish herself. This is where the story starts. The night Caitlin Clark defied the odds and defeated a giant was the end of her. Indiana receives the first tip, and the Fever quickly establishes the mood. Kelsey Mitchell takes control in a matter of seconds, exploding off the dribble, cutting past the first line of defense, and finishing smoothly by gliding to the rim. Atlanta responds quickly after Indiana's initial attack. Brianna Jones positioned herself inside on the very next possession, fighting for an offensive rebound, dragging it down with contact, and slamming the backup for two. In an instant, both sides demonstrate their readiness for conflict. Tahina Pau takes advantage of the Dream's increased speed. Indiana's defense does not respond quickly enough, leaving the court open. She charges at full speed, hits Caitlin Clark directly, takes a hit, and still completes. The crowd senses the change when the whistle blows. Pau finishes the three-point play after stepping confidently to the line. Atlanta starts to gain steam. Jones immediately returns to his job. She acknowledges the mismatch, drops in a confident finish with her size and strength, and backs Clark down in the post. Atlanta has a response every time Indiana delivers. After regrouping, the Fever focus on execution. Caitlin Clark receives the ball from Aaliyah Boston and makes good use of the screen. She splits the defense, changes speed, and stretches for an off-leg scoop layup through contact with impeccable timing. And the assault doesn't end there. Mitchell finishes at the rim after feigning a handoff, accelerating abruptly into the lane, and slipping through traffic. There is no denying the Fever's beat, but Jones isn't going to stop. She makes a precise lane change, disappears, and drains a jumper. Her touch is clean and her footwork is precise. She clears the glass, once more a few moments later, bringing down another offensive board and laying it in to make it to 9 points for the quarter. She has been a natural force. After finding her teammates in stride and feeding Boston for a simple score, Clark sets up Lexi Hall for a powerful attack that results in a foul call. Indiana's offensive is booming, but the Dream are prepared with a response. After establishing position and scoring deep in the paint, Brittany Gurrier finishes again. This time, the shot was softly banked off the glass. Alicia Gray punishes Indiana by sinking a three-pointer from the wing as the clock is running out. However, Clark has the last say. As the buzzer is about to go off, he pulls up from the logo and drains a deep triple, leaving the audience in disbelief. There is an unexpected slowdown at the start of the second quarter. On defense, both teams dig in, making difficult shots and preventing easy looks. Without a single basket, almost 2.5 minutes pass by. With every empty possession, the arena's anxiety grows. Finally, the silence is broken by Ryan Howard. She attacks deliberately, drives all the way to the rim for a challenging finish, and assesses Dana Bonner on the wing. Atlanta strikes first, but after such a protracted drought, it feels like more than 2 points. Immediately changing gears in transition, Caitlin Clark pushes the ball up the floor after securing the rebound. She sees Kelsey Mitchell sprinting ahead with amazing vision and makes the pass just in time, letting Mitchell to complete the play. It comes right when Indiana needs it most, and is their first score of the game. In response, the Dream goes to their anchor. When the pass comes, Brittany Gurrier powers it straight up for two after establishing a deep position beneath the rim and using her strength to close off her opponent. From outside the arc, Clark attempts to respond, but Ryan Howard retaliates angrily and grabs her hand. Clark gets sent to the line for 3 free shots when the whistle blows. To punish the error and erode the lead, she calmly and collectively drinks all 3. Through Natasha Howard, Atlanta is once again bending inward. She maintains her calm, rotates to the left, and drops in a fluid left-handed hook shot as the shot clock fades. The veterans' move keeps the Dream front and center. However, Indiana notices a change in momentum, and Clark starts to get heated. Clark uses the screen to soar into a self-assured three-pointer after Boston passes the ball at the top. The shot is flawless. It pushes her into double digits and reduces the deficit to just 4. As Gurrier finishes off a flawless pass beneath the rim after slipping behind the defender, the Dream answer comes swiftly in transition. Clark still has her own solutions, but her awareness and timing are perfect. She feeds her for a clean finish after spotting Mitchell cutting fast behind her defender. Atlanta does it with accuracy on the next trip. Ryan Howard uses a moment of doubt to find space as they run a ghost screen to trick the defense. She confidently makes a three-pointer from the wing, holding Indiana at bay. But Clark won't slow down. She assesses Howard, steps back purposefully, and buries the jumper in her face. Now you can see the fire in her eyes. Clark keeps up the pressure as the quarter draws to a close. Boston sets an away screen, and she runs off it, plants her feet, and makes another deep 3. As ball spills through, the crowd rises, giving Clark 16 points for all the momentum. And as the last seconds pass, Indiana pushes the action via Boston and Clark once more. Boston calmly sinks the jumper from the short roll after setting a tight screen and rolling into the paint. Their most dependable play is performed flawlessly. 44-42 was the Dream lead. However, Caitlin Clark has settled into a rhythm, and a dramatic second half is in store. Ryan Howard goes off right away to start the second half with a bang. After quickly assessing her opponent, she rocks back on her dribble and creates enough space for a 3-step back. The shot splashes through without any uncertainty, the follow-through is fluid, and the release is flawless. The entire building receives a message from this type of hit. There are no plans for Atlanta to slow down. The ball returns to Howard's hands short while after a dead ball tip. Now she's feeling the beat, and the outcome seems certain as soon as she stands up to shoot. They sail through the net 3 more times. Less than a minute later, 2. Suddenly, Indiana's defense is under a lot of pressure. However, the fever slips again, resulting in a costly breakdown. Howard slips off unmarked to the wing. She also makes them pay when the pass comes. It's almost foolish to leave her that exposed when 2 threes have already fallen. In less than 90 seconds, she coolly scores her third, thrilling her teammates and lighting up the audience. Everyone in the arena can sense that Howard is on fire. Indiana frantically looks for a solution and discovers one in transition. Kelsey Mitchell makes a steal close to the top of the key, pushes the break, and reads the passing path flawlessly. As Mitchell circles out to the wing, she tosses the ball to Caitlin Clark, who instantly returns the favor. Without hesitation, Mitchell nails the shot, providing the Fever with a much-needed response. Aaliyah Boston makes an impression in the post during the subsequent possession. She shows everyone why she is such a reliable anchor by feigning a handoff, spinning effortlessly into the lane, and finishing high off the glass with flawless footwork. However, their attack is humming, and the Dream still controls the tempo. Alicia Gray buries another triple after stepping into rhythm and spotting up from the perimeter. Then, using her muscle to make the defense give up, Brianna Jones draws a hard double team in the paint before swinging the ball out to Naz Hillman. Hillman enters the open look without hesitation and drinks a 3 of her own. The shots are falling, the floor is wide, and Atlanta appears to be unstoppable. That is just the beginning of the avalanche. Joining the rush, Maya Caldwell takes the ball in transition, crosses the hoop quickly on Clark, and then jumps cleanly from the free throw line. Each item feels like a different one. Atlanta held firm against Indiana, pulling away with strong rebounding and clutch shooting to secure a 91-90 win. Caitlin Clark lit up the game with 27 points, 11 assists, and 5 rebounds, hitting deep threes and fueling a late fever comeback alongside Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell. Despite their push, Brittany Griner's inside presence, 21 points, and Ryan Howard's late free throws sealed it for the Dream. The Fever showed fight, but Atlanta's composure down the stretch made the difference.